Welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference with your host, Teresa Velardi. We believe that authentic, meaningful, and diverse conversations are the glue that binds us together. Our discussions remind us we have the power to uplift, challenge, stretch, and invite dynamic growth. Are you, like many, feeling like you're flying by the seat of your pants through life? Join us for conversations filled with gratitude, values, abundance, authenticity, and faith. Here's the host of our show, Teresa Velardi.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference. I'm excited to be with you here today. I am delighted to be here. We're going to be joined in a few minutes by Andi Buerger from Voices Against Trafficking, and we're going to talk about an upcoming event. But as you well know, before we get started, we like to open with a prayer. So we say the Serenity prayer together, if you wouldn't mind. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I also want to say that it is by God's grace that we are fabulous, blessed, highly favored, living in our greatness, using our God-given gifts and talents, making a difference in the lives of others with passion and purpose, and all of God's great universe is conspiring in our favor. And together we gratefully say, Amen. Amen. All right. So as you know, we've been on this mission to bring a voice, and awareness to trafficking. And Andi Buerger will join us shortly. But what we are here for today is to introduce you to something that's going to be happening next Saturday. That's November 22nd at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. The Soul 105.3 is hosting a 15-hour international music marathon. The event is powered by Voices Against Trafficking and the Broadcast Your Dreams Foundation. It's the first of its kind, and DJs from around the world, starting in Thailand, will play sets between panel discussions focused on eradicating human trafficking. These discussions will explore what individuals can do to combat the global epidemic, regardless of their home or the country that they're in. Whether you're in the States or internationally, we have sponsors internationally interested in supporting this event, and they can contact Andi Buerger at info@voicesagainsttrafficking.com. The information will be on the replay of this show on YouTube. So just go to YouTube and find Conversations That Make a Difference, Teresa Velardi, and all the information that you need will be there, as well as all over social media this week. So I hope you'll join us. Now, to introduce my guests for today, who are all part of this conversation in one way or another. I'm going to start with Renea Attaway. She is a Bible teacher, speaker, and author with a background in healthcare and the culinary arts. She's also the CEO of Destiny by Grace, which is a ministry dedicated to empowering individuals who have been knocked down by life, including victims of domestic violence, abuse, and trafficking. So with 35 years of ministry and 24 years in business leadership, Renea helps others overcome challenges through faith and practical skills. And for more information about Renea and what she does, you can go to destinybygrace.com. Welcome, my friend, Renea.
Hi.
It's so good to have you here. So we're going to start with we'll do the rest of the ladies, and then we will introduce the man of the hour. Okay. All right. So we're going to go to First Lady. First Lady is South Carolina born and California raised, which explains her diversity in music. She's one of the Southeast people to know in the music industry. Her early years of radio were spent mentoring under iHeartRadio executives, ultimately leading to an opportunity to join Coalition DJs as an executive advisor in 2019, providing organizational assistance, structure, and DJ assistance to the company. First Lady is currently the program director for Rebel 107.9 in Charlotte, North Carolina. now in the post-launch phase with instant attention from markets globally and available on iHeartRadio. It's nice to see you, First Lady. Welcome to the show. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. Then we have DJ Red Bottom. She's not just a DJ. She's a queen of the turntables, and she's here to set the stage on fire. Known for her versatility and creativity on the decks, DJ Red Bottom has emerged as one of the most sought-after DJs in New York and globally as well. She is an upstate New York native, and she has already shared stages with multiple A-list artists such as Too Short. I wouldn't go by that name. I'm too short to start with. But Eric Sermon, Kid Rock, and Bun B. Most recently, she DJ'd and opened for Big Daddy Kane on LL Cool J's Rockin' Bells cruise. Hey, that's pretty cool. You can catch Red Bottom spinning weekly on some of New York's hottest nightclubs and lounges, and every Sunday on her old school versus new school radio show on Rebel 107.9 and iHeartRadio, and of course on The Soul 105.3. Welcome to the show, Red Bottom.
Great to be here.
Great to have you here. I'm so excited for all of you people to come here because every single one of you has a reason and a purpose for being here, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. And we have the man of the hour, Reverend Emilio Roman, who has what did I do with your page? Here it is.
You can just make it up.
I'll make it up. Okay, you are a USMC master connector, Marine veteran, publisher, community servant, and you are widely known as the Master Connector. A proud United States Marine Corps veteran, faith-driven leader, and champion for authors, speakers, and communities across the nation. Alongside his wife, Daniela, he owns Co-Author Network, LLC, a veteran-owned publishing company that has helped publish over 500 authors and has interviewed more than 3,000 speakers and writers through their long-running radio and broadcast programs. Over the years, Reverend Emilio has interviewed an extraordinary range of individuals, from Holocaust survivors to celebrities, queens of countries, public officials, community heroes, and everyday people with extraordinary lives. Committed to service, deeply committed to service, he hosts 2 major events annually for veterans each year. The first is a Thanksgiving dinner serving homeless veterans, Christmas card drives delivering handwritten cards and encouragement to veterans in Philadelphia and New Jersey hospitals and satellite clinics. These events reflect his lifelong passion for honoring those he serves. And when Emilio and Daniela are not working, you'll almost always find them cherishing time with their grandsons, Tomas and Sebastian. Now, in the second half of their lives, their mission is simple and powerful: service, community, and family first. And we'll give you contact information during the show. Welcome to the show, Reverend Emilio. Thank
you for sharing that. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, so, Andi, I got hooked on talking to Andi and learning about what she does in terms of helping people get out of trafficking. And we've done several shows, and it's going to all culminate on this weekend for the event that I spoke about a little bit earlier. And I want to ask DJ Red Bottom, I'm going to ask you first, because I know that you're one of the DJs that's going to play throughout at one point of the event, 15 hours of music we're going to have with all these DJs. Do you know what your time slot is and what drew you to this platform for this particular event?
Don't let me lie to you. I think my time slot is at 5, but I will be, I'll be throughout the event. I'm hosting the event, so you'll hear my voice all throughout the event. Yeah. What drew me to this was Andi. Hearing her story and just, the conversations about trafficking, some of the things I did know and some things were new to me. And with any piece of information that I obtain, it's like, we have this platform, why not use it? So any opportunity that I have to, voice something, especially something that is important as this, I'm there. I'm going to take part in it. I'm going to do my best to get that word out on every platform that I'm a part of.
Yeah,
so,
that's awesome.
To my community.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And it's all about the support that we give one another throughout this whole thing. And it's support on so many levels: financially, emotionally, support people, physically support them through the work like what Renee does, and helping people to rehab and get reacclimated with what life is really supposed to be like after they've come out of the sewer of trafficking, right? So it's anything that we can do in order to be able to support this mission to eradicate trafficking is just every little bit counts. So thank you so much for all that you do to get it out there. And our hope is that we're going to raise a lot of money to change a lot of lives. Renee, I just talked about you and the fact that people come to you for, during the rehab phase after they've been rescued from trafficking or found their way out in one way or another. Can you talk a little bit about what Destiny by Grace does?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're beginning to work on establishing safe houses for women to come into, but we don't want to take any Uncle Sam money because there's so many strings tied to that money, right? And the thing that I think is most important about getting these women delivered and set free from the horrific things that they've been through is the power of God in their lives. And of course, the government money doesn't allow you to use the Lord as a source of deliverance for these women. And that's really the only thing that will successfully get them to where they need to be. So it's really important that we come from a spiritual aspect. So these women will come in, and right now we work with women in different aspects because we don't have houses yet, safe houses yet. Actually met with a realtor today, and we're looking at, getting these houses started in this new community where we're at right now, where the Lord sent us to. So we're looking forward to having multiple houses, because that seems to be one of the biggest problems, is that when women go into safe houses that are there, they're subpar. A lot of them are not great places to be. And we want these women to come out and to know that they're loved by God, that they're a daughter of the King, and that they should be treated like a royal princess. So identity is a huge thing that we work on first and foremost, is knowing who you are, not who you've been told you are.
Right, exactly.
How you've been treated in the past. It's how you're supposed to be treated and who God made you to be.
Yeah. And it's and all of that is taken away when they are held captive, if you will, and it's interesting about the government and not being able to help ministries that are led by the word of God. And in the meanwhile, I remember clearly from a movie called, I always forget the name of the movie, but the phrase that I always remember is God's children are not for sale. God's children are not for sale. We're not for sale, but at the same time, there are certain agencies that do not want to keep them safe either from that sale. But, and we are princesses and we are queens in the eyes of the Father. And we have the First Lady with us today. She's the head of her life, and here comes Andi Buerger. So, First Lady, let's hear a little bit about you. Why are you drawn to this this particular event, and what would you like to see happen for your groups?
Number one, Dizzi Dee. Dizzi Dee reached out to me. He kind of knows me a little bit personally, and knew this would be something that would be near and dear to my heart. And so of course when he sent me the information, I was like, absolutely, I'm here for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so how are you going to be involved in this? And I know you said you're a coalition DJ. Could you explain what that is, please?
Coalition DJ is basically a crew of DJs, and it really started really small. I think in a studio with like a handful of the DJs that kind of just worked in the Georgia, Atlanta area. Since then, I think we're on year 20 almost, and we are now spread upon, I believe, about 23 to 25 states and a few different places outside the country. We are a group of DJs, all genres, that basically share music. Labels, we've worked with just about every label and every Billboard artist that you can probably name. With basically assisting them with what is their next project. What do you put out next? And is this project going to be the project that's going to hit? So, kind of a music connoisseur, I would say.
Good.
So with that, we also take newer artists and spread them throughout the country. So I meet them today. You may hear them in the next couple of months because I'm bouncing them around again.
Nice. Yeah, thank you for your part in this. And she mentioned Dizzi Dee. Dizzi's going to join us after the first break, and he's the one that put together all these DJs around the world to be part of this organization. And it's to him we owe the honor of being able to talk to Red Bottom and First Lady. So thank you so much for being here. We're going to go to Emilio, and then we're going to talk to Andi and DJ and DJ Dizzi Dee when we come back from the break. But Emilio, tell me. I had the privilege of meeting Emilio at the Voices Against Trafficking Gala in New Jersey. And he is involved in a lot of different things with veterans. Why this mission? Why are you invited here? What speaks to you about this particular venture?
Thank you. First and foremost, thank you so much. Thank you for this platform, Teresa. And thank you to Red Bottom, First Lady, and Renea Attaway. Great talking with you ladies. Prior to coming on the air, I got to learn a lot about you and your mission. And Andi Buerger, man, just love her. Absolutely love her. Didn't know she existed or her mission until Jose Escobar, which is part of an organization called the Connected Leaders Academy, nominated me. So apparently Andi reached out for her gala and was looking for folks that are doing things in her community. So I was a little taken back when the title kept coming up, human trafficking, because I was like, I don't know anything about that space. But I've worked alongside with my wife, Daniela Roman, as you mentioned earlier, and she's in the domestic violence space. So when I got to hear her story, Andi's story, I was just touched. I mean, if you've heard part of her story, you're touched by it. You're just, it stops at how does this even happen? And so it was at this conversation that we had. She sent me her book, which I proudly have here, a beautiful autographed book. If you don't have it, shameless plug. A fragile thread of hope. You got to pick it up. And all of a sudden, I get to meet her in person. And it's like my Facebook friends are real. I got to meet her and her husband. And I just fell in love with her mission. And I said, whatever and however we can support, I'm there. And of course, I met you, Teresa, your son and his fiance. And it was just like I was home.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was a great event. And although there were a lot of people there, there are certain people that stand out to you. And Emilio opened us up being the reverend that he is, he opened us up in prayer, and he was there the whole time. We got a chance to really get to know him a little bit, and then connected with him. And we found out we only live like 2 hours away from one another. So how cool is that? And we have here, before we go to break, I'm going to introduce Andi. A lot of you who have been watching this series of shows about Voices Against Trafficking know that she is an international speaker, author, and survivor of child sex trafficking. And she advocates globally for victims of exploitation. She founded Beulah's Place, rescuing 300 plus at-risk teens, and then later on co-founded Voices Against Trafficking, uniting voices worldwide to defend human rights. Her books and the international distributed Voices of Courage magazine empower survivors and honor human rights and human rights champions. In 2025, the Voices of Courage television series debuts. Actually, that's been moved to 2026. And she's expanding her mission to inspire justice and hope for those who are victimized. And voicesagainsttrafficking.com is the website to go to, and all that information is going to be available to you, and we'll tell you how you can donate to the cause as we go on into the weekend, doing our very best to help to raise funds for Voices Against Trafficking and the other organization that we'll talk about once Dizzi comes on board. So, Andi, I'm glad you made it. Good to see your smiling face.
Appreciate that. Sorry I was a little late, but not enough hours in the 24 hours.
Yeah, not enough, my friend. It seems that every single one of them is taken and then some in the same 24 hours, right?
Well, thank you all for being on. I'm so grateful to you. Oh my goodness, it's going to be an amazing event. We're so excited.
Yes, we're very excited. And we're going to talk more about it when we come back from the break. I'm going to give it off to DJ Dizzi Dee, who is going to give us our break information, and then will join us live in the studio. We'll be back in just a few minutes. And here we are. Welcome, DJ Dizzi Dee, to the studio. Peace. So DJ is well known. Dizzi DJ Dee. Dizzi. Well known for being the co-founder of the Nerve DJs and his work on internet radio. He is the radio host of the Pitch Control Talk Radio for DJs by DJs, and that show airs with interviews twice a year. He works at internet radio, industry consultant for Sirius streaming, training would be DJs and radio hosts, radio programmers, and technicians. DJ served as a program director and general manager for various internet radio stations, and is currently the general manager of the Soul 105.3 in Charlotte, North Carolina, which of course is going to be the host network for this event. And thank you, Dizzi, for putting this all together. You get a great round of applause from all of us for the support that you are giving to this organization and the voice that you are giving, not only to the people who will benefit from the funds that we raise, but for all of those whose voices are never heard, who are working behind the scenes to be able to bring light to a very dark subject. So thank you. And I get the privilege of working with him a couple of times a month on this show. How's that? He's been awarded 5 plaques for his role in breaking new artists on the internet and terrestrial radio by Digital Radio Tracker. I didn't realize you had such a long list of things that you've done in the industry to make a difference for lives of other people who just love music. So I just want to welcome you with open arms to this show. You can catch him every Sunday at 8 p.m. on the Soul 105.3, blasting the airways with a thrilling show, old school versus new school mixed show. Okay, so who wins, Jay, old school or new school?
Yeah, we know old school always wins.
Always wins.
Yes.
It's like the Washington Generals versus Harlem Globetrotters. The Washington Generals would lose all the time.
So, what's really fun is that Red Bottom has this old school, new school right before you come on with your old school, new school. I've been on there. Andy's been on there. And it's just so much fun. It's only like 10 minutes of real just excitement about music and getting a message out into the world, which is exactly what we're here to do. So, Dizzi, I want to say thank you for the idea that you put into our heads to do this. Tell us how this all came about. I want you to tell the story.
Okay, as far as working with DJs Against Trafficking, 9 years ago, actually the call letters are WRDR, and it used to be a EDM radio station 9-10 years ago. And the DJs were pretty much global with house music, EDM music, and so forth. And there was a DJ programmer I worked with. Her name is Tatchett. in Texas, Dallas, Texas. And we were just talking one night after a show, and we got on the subject of how to help people. And one thing that I mentioned to her is that celebrities, whomever, sports persons, and well, DJs, artists, we have a broad range of people that we talk to and meet. We have a huge net. I mean, just think of it. If you're a music artist, you got hundreds of people in front of you during an event, or maybe even thousands. And we do too. Our event, we may have something, a backyard party with 25, or we may be at a concert with a few thousand. So we have a huge range. So we got on the subject of how can we help, and we came up with the idea of DJs Against, and we didn't know at the very end of that what it would be: DJs Against Drunk Drivers, DJs Against Homelessness. But we put together a sponsorship package and we sent it out. I forget the name after the suffix that we came up with, DJs Against, but we didn't get much response back, and that was kind of the end of it. And it said, well, it did perturb me that no one responded to this, but because we have such a large platform, that we represent all the time, DJs, artists, celebrities, and so forth. So listening to your program, producing your show through Dream Vision 7, I was listening to the program with Andi, Voices Against Trafficking, and so forth. I said, wow, what a coincidence. 10 years later. And then after the show is when we chit chat about what we talked about on the show. I pitched it, and you guys took it right away. And so I said, wow, this is going to work, because like working with First Lady in Red Bottom, our net is very large. I mean, so working with the DJs, it was a series of phone calls. Hey, we need to start in Asia. So the first DJs in Thailand. And then we bounce over in Europe, swing through Africa, swing through South America, and then back in the States and back around. And the DJs were honored. And the thing about it is that we have to do this again, because the response that I got a flood of calls. How come you didn't pick me? Are you going to make this day 2? And they weren't asking for anything back, because DJs like to be heard, like artists like to sing. They like to be heard. People like to be seen for what they do, their craft. But they weren't much interested in that, which was really good and really telling. They were interested in spreading the word, because they had experiences too. They knew of somebody. Some of them have been abused. Many DJs, just like artists, when you think of recording artists, some of us come from very rough backgrounds and have a story to tell in order to share that to help others. Of course, they can't share it during the show or when they're spinning, when we do this on Saturday. But by being there, by promoting it, and by asking people to give in contributions, they're doing their part. So we appreciate them for doing the work, because it takes a lot of work. They have to do their mix and send it to me and go through the guidelines I sent out and so forth. But they didn't much mind at all, period. They really enjoy putting the package together and sending that to me. And right now they're promoting. And even there's one, his name is Tony Essence here in Charlotte, and he donated his time to do voiceover work. Even though we have a short period between now and Saturday, he did one, and he's going to do more. So they're wanting to contribute, even though we have short window. But it just goes back to people. We're in a very rough time right now in this country, and it could be worldwide, politically, whatever. We're all divided, but people out there want to see a difference. They want to see people benefit somehow. And if they can make a difference, by doing something, they'll do it. If you present it to them, if you give them a platform and give them the tools that, they can make themselves part of it. So we love doing this. We want to do it again, because as we mentioned in our meetings, we got Red Bottom, myself, our First Lady on Saturdays, and preparing for this thing, is that we're doing this the one time. This is a debut, actually, but the crime happens every day.
Every day.
So we want to do more of this. It happens by every 6 months. Maybe we have something intermediate in the meantime to draw awareness through our radio platform. And the people that we have that are part of it, like Red and First Lady. We don't have to stop after Saturday, even though we'll do it again another time. But the radio station and the network that we have under Broadcast Your Dreams Foundation, we have 2 radio stations. That's a bullhorn, for thousands more people to hear what we want them to hear. So I'm looking forward to working with Andi and yourself to get more commercial drops, radio drops, to have awareness, and let's keep this thing going.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job. Great thing. Talk a little bit about Broadcast Your Dreams Foundation as well, because they are part of the reason that we're doing this as well. So it's going to be Voice Against Trafficking and Broadcast Your Dreams that are going to benefit from the donations that are made to this during this event and beyond. And there are so many ways to donate, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. So talk a little bit about Broadcast Your Dreams.
Okay, it's our radio stations. We're 501c3, just like Voices Against Trafficking, and Broadcast Your Dreams Foundation. Just like the name says, we're broadcasting your dreams. So whether through radio or any multimedia element, we can do that with the community and abroad throughout the state. So, we're starting in radio. Of course, we're looking at video. We may move to television, but again, it's to whatever we're broadcasting. Our dreams in media, in music, in song, we can do that through this organization. So we're fine with that. It works very well.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Now, you and Andi and myself, you guys mostly, and Red Bottom and First Lady have been doing your best to put this whole thing together with the donation, to be able to donate. You want to talk about some of the ways that people can donate to the cause? Andi, you want to start?
Sure.
Start us on that?
Absolutely. So we made it very, very easy for people to benefit and also benefit us. One of the ways is you can be a sponsor or you could be a donor as little as $25, a one-time donation. You will get a free gift. You will also get the free prevention packet that we've created so that you can learn more about grooming. There are helplines and hotlines. There is a list of tips and ideas to prevent child abuse, because yes, we are against human trafficking, but the subtext is also any exploitation of a human being, especially children. So we have a GoFundMe set up, under Voices Against Trafficking that is goes with this event, but you can definitely during the event say, hey, I have $25. I can do this. I can be part of the solution with this donation. And Voices Against Trafficking, a lot of people may not know, we are all volunteer driven. No one gets paid. And so the money actually goes to the work that we do, whether we're rescuing, whether we're helping victims and survivors create a new normal, like I had to as a 17-year victim of child trafficking. So whatever we're doing, it all goes to that end. And I am just so excited. When Dizzi mentioned the idea, I thought that's just fantastic, because I love music, and music was kind of a second salvation for me when I couldn't express myself. And so I'm very intimately, connected with music with a mission. Right? This is what we're doing. So sponsorship, donations, be part of the solution. If you want shout outs and you want airtime, Dizzi can custom create that for you, anywhere from $25 up to $2,500. But everything is going to go to victims, not only in the US, but around the world, because we have several places where we are supporting child victims of human trafficking. So we're just excited to see what happens with this event and to get the next one going, right, Dizzi?
There you go.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
City, we all in it, right?
Exactly. Now, Dizzi, we've got this going on through the Soul 105.3. You want to talk a little bit about how people can tune in and where all the information is? Want to talk about the app?
Sure. They can simply find us on the web at thesoul1053.com. That's one way. Or you can, if you want to download the app, whether it's whether it's iPhone or Android, you go to the soul1053app.com, and it's got links there at that particular link tree. You'll see that you can download. So see what else on the app itself. It's got some great features. You can donate right on the app. You'll see there's a link that says Broadcast Your Dreams. You click that, and you have information there, and he's going to speak about that in a little bit. You can donate right there on the app itself. And also we have a chat room on the app. So when we have our event on Saturday, if you like what you hear, of course, you can comment in the chat room, or if you have a comment during the panel itself, the panel discussion, and you would like for them to see what you're saying and thinking, you can get in the chat. So one thing about our radio platform is that it's interactive. So when you're there, either online or if you're on the app, you can simply leave a message right there. It has a feature too called shout out. You can click that and leave us a voice drop, and it can be played back on air, or we can listen to it and go from there. So very interactive, very easy. Go to the app, listen to Soul 105.3. You can find it on iTunes, Apple. It's not iTunes. What is the Apple platform? Apple, and also Android, right? Google Play, and the App Store. And you can find it. There you go. There you go. It's right there, right there. Yep.
And then this is the link tree that is created inside the app that DJ Dizzi Dee put together. And you'll find everything you need there. How to donate, the prevention pack, information about Voices Against Trafficking, and just the sponsorship packages that are available and the gifts that are available to you when you donate, not if you donate, when you donate. Yes. Are you hearing me? And the name of the movie was The Sound of Freedom. This, my friends, is the sound of freedom.
Through music. Yeah, absolutely. And they don't have to wait, Teresa. They can donate now ahead of time. If they don't have time to do it on Saturday, they can do that now. And that's what we're excited about, making it as easy as possible. You can move and groove to the music, but we're going to have solid information, solid people that are just having a conversation about this whole topic, top to bottom, side to side, giving people information, encouragement, inspiration, because we want to bring the truth of the situation, but also the hope.
Right. And what's beautiful about this, like with having DJ Redbottom and not just Dizzi Dee and First Lady, who have connections in other platforms, other radio platforms and media platforms where this message is going out. And even Reverend Emilio, you have your own shows that you do on YouTube, radio, wherever. So, I mean, there's a lot of voices right here in this room. Right. And then don't be afraid to take yours out there into the world and speak to people who can make a difference with their conversations, with their finances, with whatever will help to eradicate this horrific epidemic. So, Dizzi, I think we need to go to a break.
Okay, let's do that. And let's come back.
Okay, absolutely. We'll be right back. Okay. And we're back. And gratitude is the word of the month, right? It's Thanksgiving month, right? Everybody's talking about gratitude today. So we just heard about the Grateful Hearts community on Facebook, and you can just go there and drop what you're grateful for in there. I run that. And then we have these books that we put together, the daily gift books. Gratitude was first. Okay. Yeah. Oh, look, you've got my journal, Become Who You Were Created to Be. And then a daily gift of hope came out. Then we had a daily gift of kindness. Then on World Peace Day, we released a daily gift of peace. And now we are gathering stories for a daily gift of inspiration. And that is Andi's first book right there. Yep. And this is the #1 best-selling international book, international bestseller, Voices Against Trafficking. You want to learn about what it's all about? Get these books. Shameless plug for the books.
I love it. I'm like, wow, I'm just going to sit here and let y'all do it. Well, let me tell you, I mean, that was such a blessing that book, in 2 days, it became an international bestseller. And in December, we're going to have a day where we're going to go Amazon bestseller, right? So we're going to get all the DJs, we're going to get everybody together. It just tells me that God wants that book out. He wants the topic out there. He wants the hope out there about the situation. There are too many walking wounded in life. And, that was one of the reasons why we created Broken Treasures, the Inspiration album, which is one of our fundraising items. It's a CD. Well, CD, I know I get chided for that. I'm part dinosaur, but it's a music album. However you listen to it, and we have 15 artists on there, original songs from their experiences of triumphing over something or pushing through something or saying, "Hey, don't listen to the lies the world tells you. You can be you." Everything has a positive message. There are 6 to 8 different genres on that album, and I know Dizzi has an interview with some of the artists, so that's going to be part of that first 2 hours, and so people can get to know the folks behind the songs, like Sarah Smith, Shine Bright. about coming out of the darkness and shining bright. Who doesn't need that right now? Especially with holidays and winter, and a lot of people suffer.
Yeah.
Well, like me with PTSD, but other people suffer with, the winter, the dark, all of that kind of stuff. So we want to just really give every tool, books, music, magazines, shows, fundraisers like this, so that people can connect with the heart of the mission.
Yes,
which
exactly.
is not have any more victims that we have. We're not going to get rid of depravity in human beings, but we can definitely cut how much damage the predators do in life.
Yeah, and give information as to how to steer away from certain situations
That's right.
that might put you in a circumstance where you or your child are snatched, and the next thing you know, you're having a conversation on how to get out of that whole situation. And we want to thank everybody who is putting this out there. Thank you to Deborah from Dream Vision 7 Network, who is helping us to get this word out here as well, and for all the people who we have called upon to give voice to this topic. We're talking about music for a second. I am fascinated by, music is a universal language, and I mean universal language. I didn't realize how important music is to the animal kingdom. And I see videos of this young man. He plays a guitar. It's a pink guitar, and he'll go into a zoo or someplace where he can just be with the music, and the animals are drawn to him. It doesn't matter what kind of music he's playing. It's the animals are drawn to him. People are drawn to music, a variety of different kinds of music. I like the house music. I like I spent years in the clubs. Come on. I love to dance, and I just, yeah. And I don't do it as much anymore, but that was my go out, dance, let go of whatever it is that was bothering me, and just have a good time with the music, and that's where I found some personal freedom in the times when my life was stressful. I would dance it off. Anyway, so all the music. I went off on a tangent about the music, but this is one thing that people are drawn to. It's the audience that people love, So we're very blessed to have all of you who are involved in this, to make it big and beautiful, and we're just so grateful. So what's one thing, let's ask this. What's one thing that each one of us can do? A suggestion for the listeners. Reverend Emilio, what would you think? You've worked with a lot of people who have been in a lot of circumstances where they are not so much in control of their own life. They have, what would you suggest is one way for people to make a difference, whether it be in the community that you serve, the veterans, or in the community that we are all talking about today? What's one thing you suggest?
What comes to mind is shared pain is less pain. Whatever you're going through, you've got to share it with another human being. You have to. The way we're created, the way we're designed, we're not meant to bottle things up. Some of you may have heard that we are only as sick as our secrets.
Yes.
So whenever we hang on to something, it eats us up from the inside, and we're less effective as a brother or a sister. So I'm always all about whatever's on your mind, what's on your heart. Find somebody, even if it's a stranger. Hey, listen, I just met you, ma'am. I got this thought. It's just really running away from me. Can I share it with you? And there's something about that exchange of energy exchange that lessens the pain for them and creates this safe space. Exactly. So that's what comes to mind.
Yeah. Thank you. That was great. Renee, what do you think? What's one thing that you can share?
Oh my gosh. I love that. I love what he just said.
He stole your idea.
It's so true that, we're created by God to be communal.
Yeah.
That is. And I know from working with women, I work with more women than men, but from working with women that have been through abuse and been through trafficking, and all different situations, once they get it out, Once they come to a point where they can talk about it, they feel safe to talk about it, then you can start digging it out. And it's like once you can get all that stuff chipped away that's holding that inside, then those chains start breaking. That then the Lord comes in and you can minister to these people that have deep hurts. I came out of domestic violence. I understand where they're at. And you know, those chains that break you, that keep you bound, they're almost worse than the abuse. So we have to work really hard at getting, when we bring people out of their situation, then we have to work even harder to get them delivered from what happened to them. And opening up and being able to talk about that is one of the strongest ways to get set free. I love that, Rev.
Yeah, awesome. You know, as you were talking just now, I think about the that Michelangelo, when he was asked about how he knows what to create with a piece of marble, and he said, "It's already there. My job is to take away the things that are keeping it from being seen, to chip away at the stone." Red Bottom, what's one thing that you do, or what you would like to do, or you would how you can be active in this community to make a difference? What would you do?
I'd say, with everything else, I am my brother's, I am my sister's keeper. So education. Whatever you can take in, you can give back out. So whatever I obtain and learn, spread the word. Use every platform I have and do just that.
Exactly. Awesome. First Lady, what about you?
I would probably just say, just remember that everyone, regardless of what has happened or what has gone on, we're still all human beings. And we're human beings first before anything else.
Absolutely.
Before our race, our religion, before any of those things. And when you're approaching abuse, just be mindful of those things, because sometimes even abuse comes from religion. So just be mindful. That's all. Be mindful, and you can help literally anyone.
Awesome. Andi, having been victimized for all those years, what's one thing in your wealth of wisdom that you have? What's
Oh
one
my
thing you
goodness.
can share with the audience today?
Well, I'd say two things. First is keep moving and don't buy the lies. Don't buy the lies that you can't do this, that you can't get healthy, that you can't be successful, that you can't be healed. Because, you know, God does not fail anyone. He does not break promises. And like First Lady said, you know, we need to be mindful that this is a human epidemic. It has no gender, no socioeconomic background. It is human. You are a human being. That's what we work for. That's who we are here for. And the second thing would be being a voice of courage in your own neighborhood. Don't just presume everything's okay because you know people. You know, you don't necessarily know what goes on in that house. No one knew what went on in the house I was in. And there was plenty of opportunity for people to have stepped up or stepped in, and they didn't. But someone might say, well, I don't speak well, I don't feel comfortable. Okay, well, then use other tools. Do you vote? Because if you vote, you should vote for the people that can guarantee or that can show you we're pro-child here. We want a safe community here. We want people that have been victimized to feel comfortable in our community. They can't show that. Don't vote for them. Don't support them. You know, we have to use all the tools available to us, as was just said. And the media and broadcast media especially, people are listening or they're watching or they're doing both. This is powerful. And really bless Deborah and Dream Vision 7, you know, because you guys have gone to bat. Teresa, you started it. So thank you for that. Because the more people see real people doing this, the more comfortable I think they'll feel being a voice of courage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Dizzi, yeah, well said, Andi. Dizzi, besides getting DJs from around the world to come in and
Hmm.
and stand for a cause and do what they do so well to be able to make a difference, what's one thing that you can share that's I know has made a difference for you recently? And it's would you share that with us?
It was in the packet. What's the name of the packet that we have on the app
It's a
again?
prevention packet. It's on the app.
Prevention
Yeah.
packet, right? You
Mhm.
can go to our app, the Soul, and you'll see the link there for DJs Against Trafficking, and you'll see the prevention packet. Well, anyway, after looking at that, it was really great to raise awareness to your family, friends, your children, grandchildren to protect themselves, and
Mhm.
that's really good. There's one section there about grooming, and just coincidentally, my granddaughter was playing a game Roblox, and I didn't know that. And so after seeing that and reading about it, I got the parental controls just everywhere, even in their dreams. They can't even dream bad. After I got done with them, I got a lock on their, I got programming in their dreams in their mind right now. But anyway, the prevention pack was very good. So I actually printed it out and sat down with them and went through point by point about grooming. And
Mhm.
one of the things it brought out is the subject of gaming. The person on the other side, you really don't know who they are,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they friend you and all that, and they build up and they gain your confidence. Before you know it, something happens to them. And so she was actually communicating with someone outside of her friendship circle in school, somebody I don't know, and she really doesn't know. So all that stopped. But going back to the question, what I did was I printed that sheet out. I went by point, just like a Bible study. We read that all the way down, and
Mhm.
my eldest one, he's 13, and there's 10, and there's 8, and I wanted them to know. I wanted them to ask questions. I wanted them to know how grooming works. So, and the other point too is that I taken from all of this is to change people's perception of what trafficking is. We all
Yeah.
have in our mind it's like the movie Taken. They get the young girl who goes overseas, and she veers away from the group and she gets taken. And yeah, that does happen, and I'm sure it happens a lot. But I just listening to the show with Andy. What about the diamond mine in Sierra Leone? What about organ harvesting? Those different things that we don't think about.
Right.
War torn areas. What happens, like what was in Gaza? Your parents are killed, and so the kids are wandering around, and they're the traffickers, and they're to they get groomed. They give them a place to stay. They give them something to eat. Before you know it, there comes the drugs, and they're sold into sex slavery or slavery. See, that I didn't think about. I
Yeah.
just simply thought about very simply, like the movie Taken. So when I talk to people, I tell them, no, it's a lot more, like the organ harvesting. It's a lot more. And that I'm learned through this program. So uh, that's where I'm at with this right now. Besides the event itself, working, with my family, with others, and creating a different type of awareness beyond what Hollywood gives us.
Exactly. And then the other thing is this Voices Against Trafficking book is not just about Voice Against Trafficking, the organization. There are lots of stories from lots of people who have seen, who have heard, who have been rescued from, who have prevented children from being taken. There are lots of things in here that you can learn about what trafficking is and we had Lisa Babbage on the first show that I did with Andi with a group of people, and she actually saw a situation and circumstance that did not go together, so she was able to give information to prevent somebody from being taken. So there's a lot of information in this book, and shameless plug, buy the book. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
And I hate to say it, but this hour is gone. We're done. I can't believe it. So last thing that I want to say is join us on Saturday. Get the app for the Soul 105.3. Get the app. Join us on Saturday. Andi and I will be there. A lot of people will be there. Red Bottom will have her time spinning some great tunes for us. And there's going to be a lot to do and a lot to hear and a lot to learn on how to get through situations and circumstances that may touch somebody close to you that you don't know. Remember, God's children are not for sale. Every conversation that you have makes a difference. Have that conversation with the ones you love. And in the meanwhile, come back next week for another Conversations That Make a Difference. We'll see you again then.
Brings us to the close of another episode of Conversations That Make a Difference with host Teresa Velardi. We want to sincerely thank you for tuning in and sharing your time with us today. Our greatest hope is that today's discussion inspired your personal growth, encouraged you to share your unique gift, and gave you the courage to write your own magnificent story. If this message resonated with you, let's keep the conversation going. Take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on our Conversations That Make a Difference Facebook page. This will ensure you never miss a moment of inspiration. We air new episodes every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It truly helps us reach and empower more people. Until next time, keep making a difference. We look forward to welcoming you back next Tuesday to our next conversation.